Hello, friends. Welcome to a new series on pain and pain behaviors. It's not a topic we want to talk about easily, but it's what we all share as humans: physical and emotional pain. And more importantly, the circle of pain, the behaviors and actions and reactions that are caused when we feel pain. The chain reaction that prompts and magnetizes other events and people in its fold. So, we are addressing a very interesting issue in this series. What are the actions and behaviors that are caused by persistent pain? Behaviors that smoke screen the real issue. And what's the real issue? It's a reward that pain can bring. Believe it or not, people gain from suffering. And what would they be gaining from suffering? Attention, of course. And so, we all want to prolong it. From time to time, we all use pain for our benefit. When we avoid doing things we don't want to do, for instance, or justify our bad behavior, our anger, or greed, or guilt. And a very common one, when we hide our feelings of inadequacy. But the truth is that the denial of responsibility is why the pain persists. Instead of accepting that, we continue to rationalize, justify, and invent behaviors that make us appear right. And we call these pain behaviors. So watch for yourself and ask yourself, are you a pain addict? And if so, could you make the choice to recover? The choice involves looking at life with total honesty and translating what you can't do because of the pain into how you can make progress towards what you can create instead. So the purpose of this series is to focus your attention not on the pain, but on the well behaviors. Because they are there. They are just hidden by your habits and unawareness. When you discover these well behaviors, they can turn your life around. So listen in.
Join spiritual psychologist and India's #1 biofeedback practitioner, Ritu as she guides you through the paths of self-discovery and personal transformation so that you can live in alignment with your values and purpose. You are listening to the Cellular Alchemist podcast, and here's your host, Ritu Malhotra.
Hello, friends. This time, let's talk about the times that we identify with other people's suffering. Popular social media sites and self-help platforms, they're awash with empathy, the ability to feel what another person is feeling. Children are being taught how to be an empath, why it makes you a better person, how its absence can breed evil, etc., etc. Empathy has been exalted over the ages, from monks to priests and preachers, and of course the therapeutic community is having its moment with it. Empathy is being taught everywhere. Humans are an empathetic, compassionate, and loving species, so it's natural to feel sad or worried or even fiery about the troubles and pains of others. In fact, the Buddha had a good way to teach us about our reaction to pain. He said that the first dart is when those you love are in pain. You hurt too. And also when you hear about millions who go hungry every night, your heart may certainly be moved. That's the first dart. And the second dart is when you identify with others' suffering. When you get anxious and you ruminate and you sit there rehashing it over and over, thinking that you're responsible when you're not, or feeling flooded or overwhelmed and drained. And this also gets in the way of making things better, don't you think? In fact, most of your stress and upsets come from these second darts. Another aspect that this identification takes is from their suffering. People who identify too much, their suffering, they become enmeshed in people's problems. They may find it difficult to set boundaries, and they turn it into a mission, like they have to save others. All sounds very, very altruistic, doesn't it? But when you're rescuing others, it's okay to begin with. But when it turns into self-harm, you begin to ignore your own needs. If over-nurturing others affects the quality of your own life, you're really on the road to a burnout. So watch out. Balance is the name of the game, isn't it? So how do you do this? How do you find that sweet spot in which you are open, caring, and yet you allow people to land in your heart, while still staying balanced and centered and at peace at your very core? First, I think it's okay to not be perfect. When you know that you are coming from a sincere place, you don't have to prove yourself to others. Knowing this will help you stay authentically open to others. And something I heard Nico C. Johnson said perfectly resounds this response. He said, do what you can with what you've been given, in the place where you are, with the time that you have. Isn't that beautiful? We all need to do that for ourselves, so I'm going to repeat it. Do what you can with what you've been given, in the place where you are, with the time that you have. So do what you can and know that you have done it. This brings peace. I have seen and experienced this time and again, that when I give myself a chance to see the big picture, that whatever another person's pain may be due to, perhaps through their illness or depression or aging, maybe parental issues or relationships or disappointments, it is made up of a vast variety of causes. Reasons that are locked into emotions and thoughts. That is a truth. Recognizing this truth can be strangely calming. That everyone is going through whatever is designed as the whole of a person's life. Their past merging into their present and their physical reality. As you see this big picture, you begin to stay more in the present, taking life less personally, and with those changes, a growing sense of peace emerges in your life. And as always, remember, any stress is like a storm that passes, like everything else.
That was this week's episode for the Cellular Alchemist podcast with spiritual psychologist Ritu Malhotra. Don't forget to follow the podcast on your listening app so that when the new episode drops, you do not miss out on the chance to change your life by changing your beliefs.